Okay, Tanse, Hoki, Niakaseniosainapesis, Old Man Rockboy, and Agu-kisti-pita. Agu-kisti-pita is my Blackfoot name that was just given to me. But I'm from Treaty 4, Cousins First Nation, and I've lived in Mohkinstsis for over 50 years. And I am the Lead Oskâpêwis at Miskanawah. How is building relatives connected to our land? Askiy-pimatsowin. It's foundational, from an indigenous worldview, from an indigenous perspective. Building relatives out on the land is, it allows us to connect with each other in a different way than we would in a boardroom or a meeting room or in a concrete building. Being out on the land, I think one of the first things that happens for most people is that they ground themselves, they connect with themselves, they connect with their spirit. And that's what askiy-pimatsowin allows us to do. It allows each of us to connect in spirit, connect with our spirit, and once we go there, then it's easier to connect with the spirit of our grandfathers and grandmothers, to the spirit of those around us. And for our families, connecting to their spirit is often the first step to acknowledging their own healing journey, their own growth. And so askiy-pimatsowin is, whether we're sitting in a teepee like we are now, or sitting in the sweat lodge, or just sitting in circle, doing a round dance, camping, all of those are just natural environments where people can build relatives, connect with themselves, connect with each other, connect with their spirit, and then explore some of those other needs, whatever it might be, whether people are dealing with mental health or addictions. Askiy-pimatsowin plays a role and a function in that healing journey, in that pathway. The building relatives make sense. And so I think that's how it's served us well. It's expanded our scope of offerings to our families through our partners, through our building relatives. And it's also invited our non-indigenous allies to learn about our indigenous ways of knowing and being, to understand, some different cultural perspectives on, the children and families they serve. Those teachings aren't inherent to them. They're some of them are transferable, but some of them are not. And that's why it's important to have our elders and our knowledge keepers. That's why it's important to have our ceremonies and our languages. And that's why it's also important to connect out on the land. On behalf of the board of directors and all of the staff at Miskanawah, our elders, our knowledge keepers, our Oskapewis, which is everybody. Everyone's Oskapewis. When you're serving families, in their healing journey, you're Oskapewis, because we understand practice is ceremony, practice as ceremony. On behalf of all of us, we're so grateful for our partners, our funders, for supporting us in our own journey as an organization. Not just in building relatives, but in creating some space and time for us to understand, our role as Oskapewis and how we can contribute to the well-being of all the children and families that we serve and our partners. So without that support, without that volunteerism, without those donations, none of that happens. Or it might happen, but it doesn't happen at the scope that we've been able to offer this past year. So that's been pretty significant. So at Miskanawah, we acknowledge each and every one of you, and we say, Kanaskomatin. Thank you, everybody. Hi, hi.